is obsessed with looking younger. The beauty industry is worth billions, and year on year that number grows. With so many new products, treatments, and procedures, it's easy to get overwhelmed. Our cultural heritage determines what we consider beautiful. So how do you define beauty? Is beauty really skin deep, or does our mind, body, and soul also play a role? And what does growing old gracefully really mean? In a world full of self-proclaimed experts, conflicting opinions, and a sea of choices available, how do we make good decisions based on real testimony and solid evidence? I'm Roberta Whitney, and this is The Beauty Show, where I'll be taking a deep dive into uncovering positive aging breakthroughs. I'll be in conversations with industry leaders, beauty entrepreneurs, experts, and innovators to find out how they define beauty and how they would optimize the beauty of someone like me. How do I live not just longer, but also live well and stay beautiful forever? Because I believe that healthy, happy people are always more beautiful. Lilias Ahmeira, it is such a pleasure to talk to you today. Welcome to The Beauty Show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Sorry, Mai, I can't wait to hear all your little tidbits on this incredible topic that is very interesting to me because it ties in with what I'm experiencing myself. So before we go there, reverse aging and trying to reverse the signs of aging is such a hot topic right now, along with hormones and anything to do with menopause and hormones. So I'm experiencing menopause at the moment. And what is important to me is trying to understand what we could do to limit those symptoms, because we obviously can't stop getting menopause, but we can limit how we experience that. Before we go into much detail, please can you tell us who you are and how you came to be in this realm of knowledge?
Well, that is really sweet of you. I'm so excited to be here and be sharing what I'm going to share because it's such a hot topic. But so that you guys understand who I am, my name is Lilias Ahmeira. I am a holistic practitioner of over 30 years. I got into this because my son at the age of 2 was diagnosed as being severely autistic, and I was told to basically go away and have another child. I realized that the pediatrician wasn't particularly going to help me, and I then decided I had to go and fix him myself. And I went out and I studied with some of the best doctors and scientists around the world with a view of rescuing my son. That was 22 years ago. He's now 6'2", Forrest Gump, 24, and doing spectacularly well. It's been a hell of a journey, but I've learned a great deal along the way, and I have shared everything that I have learned with everybody. And I think one of the things that has been an absolute gift for me is because of my desire to make a difference for him, I wanted to know what is the latest thing that's coming out, what is actually going to make a difference. And I would do a deep dive into everything new. And when the hairs on the back of my neck went up, I knew I had something special. And that is exactly what happened in October last year. And it hasn't happened for about 7 or 8 years. And suddenly the hairs on the back of my neck went up and I went, oh boy, here we go.
So that is very exciting. And I'm so glad that I'm part of this journey now where I get to learn about this incredible product. So the HGH is the
human growth hormone is a hormone that we produce naturally in the body. It is part of one of the ingredients in that, and I'll go into the product, what it does, but I think we need to understand a little bit about how our hormones affect us. So human growth hormone is amazing. We have it in us from the moment we're born. It is what takes us from a small baby to a magnificent adult.
Right.
Without human growth hormone, we wouldn't be, the magnificence that we are. And if you think about it, most 18 to 22-year-olds have loads of energy. They have washboard stomach, desirable V-shaped body for the boys, no hips, no cellulite. We laugh a huge amount. We have fabulous hair, skin, and nails. That's most kids of that age are magnificent because they have more hormones coursing around them than they'll ever have again in their lives. Mm-hmm. And what happens is when you get to 25, you start to calm down. You don't particularly know why, but you're not partying and being quite so reckless and stupid as you were when you were 16, 17. But the master hormone, human growth hormone, begins to fall off a cliff.
Why that happens? Is that just part of the way that the body was designed?
This is my opinion. I've got nothing to back it up. But eons ago, we didn't live much past 30 or 40, and we had our children much, much younger. So it's kind of like the evolutionists going, well, in your mid-20s, you should have had your babies by now and found your mate. So you don't need to be quite so magnificent, and we can take our foot off the pedal.
Yes.
So that's my thoughts on it. I may be wrong. There'll be probably specialists out there who will have lots to say. But when you get to your late 20s, your whole body composition changes. You may not notice it, but that very slim, no hips, no bottom, no cellulite. For the ladies, we start to develop curves. We may start to develop cellulite. And then when we get into our 30s, the human growth hormone is now really backing off. It's now really falling away. Therefore, when your hormones reduce, your cortisol levels become higher. And so in the 30s, there's a lot more anxiety, adrenal fatigue, thyroid problems. And then as you get into your 40s, lovely little tight waists that we used to enjoy have turned into tree trunks. We've got lots heavier legs, heavier bottoms for many people. The interest in the bedroom is dwindling, sadly. Then we get a lot more tired. And then gradually we go into the symptoms of perimenopause and postmenopause. And the poor guys, they become more thick set. The stomach starts to go out, they become heavier. It's much harder for everybody to keep their lean muscle mass. And all of these things, every single one of those things is the body trying to regulate a lack of hormones. And so this product is incredible because it's the only thing in the world right now that does what it does. The beautiful thing about it is it's just been introduced into this country at the end of October last year, beginning of November. There is nothing that does what it does. And it's not hormone replacement. This is very, very important. It is hormone therapy. So it's a product that is a transdermal homeopathic HGH gel.
Right. For anybody that was concerned about what the bodybuilders might do, injecting it, etc., this is nothing like that. Completely natural. Transdermal, as in a serum that you put onto the skin that's absorbed in, and that's how it takes effect?
Yes. But the beautiful thing about it is because it's transdermal, it is bypassing the stomach and the liver. So it's going straight into the bloodstream where you want it. Let's go back to what HGH does. So HGH, we understand, takes you from being a small baby to a magnificent adult. But in a more deeper level, it is produced in the anterior pituitary. And what it does is it stimulates 12 glands to produce over 50 hormones.
Right.
And so you can now see that if it's now beginning to fall off a cliff in your mid-20s, it's unable to stimulate your 12 glands to produce all of these fabulous hormones, which make you magnificent. And what this product does, it stimulates, because of the homeopathic vibrational quality of it, it stimulates the anterior pituitary and goes, hey, you used to do this, wake up, you can do it again. And the anterior pituitary goes, yeah, great. And with that, it can then start to produce its own human growth hormone and therefore stimulate your 12 glands to produce your 50 hormones. And that is why it's different, because your body can then regulate it. You see, the blood is incredibly sensitive to external sources of hormones. So if you are on bioidenticals or if you are on HRT, that's the one, the blood suddenly goes, oops, where the heck did that come from? Let's say you've got some testosterone or pregnenolone or, you know, the things that many of these people are taking, progesterone. The blood suddenly goes, where the heck did that come from? Right, shut the gland down because we cannot regulate this. And in shutting the gland down, how many other hormones is that gland also producing? So now you've created an imbalance.
Right.
So you might feel better because you've got a bit of progesterone or you've got some of the other things, but you've just shut a gland down that produces a whole load of other things. And if you keep taking it, that gland then starts to atrophy and get smaller and smaller and smaller. And with HRT, it can actually fry your glands so that they are unable to produce hormones again ever if they've been on it for a really, really long period of time. And with the bioidenticals, it just kind of puts them into a coma, of which it takes a very, very long time to come out from. What most people don't realize is when they are in their magnificence and in their 20s, their adrenals, let's say, would be the size of a kidney bean. And that's about the size of many glands in the body. But by the time you get into your 40s or 50s, that gland has shrunk because of the lack of stimuli to be about the size of the nib of a ballpoint pen.
That's incredible.
So you can see why it's really, really hard for the body to secrete hormones and to function. So I think what people need to understand is some of the things that human growth hormone can do. So there's an amazing book written by Dr. Klatz, and he's done a lot of research on this over the years, and there are many, many peer-reviewed studies. But the sort of things that in your 20s that you enjoy, and this is where human growth hormone is controlling this, is it enables you to lose fat and gain muscle. It enables you to increase your energy levels, to increase your immune function. It's responsible for your sexual performance. And think about how that falls off a cliff for many women as they get into their 40s and 50s. You know, if you have enough human growth hormone on board, you have all of your lovely secretions downstairs. One of the biggest things is vaginal dryness. It's horrible. And, you know, that is so upsetting for so many relationships. It upsets everything that goes on in the bedroom. So if you've got something that's stimulating that to come back on board again, yes, please. One's relationships are so much more wholesome. Yeah. It's responsible for the increase in your cardiac output, skin elasticity. It helps you to remove your wrinkles. And all of this there is peer-reviewed literature that shows that HGH can do this, eliminating cellulite. My night vision returned in 5 months of being on the gel. And I'll go into some of the other things that I experienced, but I was getting to the point when I was going to have to get glasses to drive at night. I'm 60. It's kind of like, oh, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and get some glasses. And literally 2 weeks later, I got in the car to drive at night, and my night vision was amazing. I'm going to go, wow. If you stay with it, so it'll help lower blood pressure, improve cholesterol profiles, it increases your bone mass, so you've got less likelihood of having hip fractures for us ladies as we get older. It quickens wound healing. It's fabulous for memory retention, your sleep quality. So you can see how hormones have a profound effect on how you feel and the quality of your life. And if the main hormone stimulates all of your other hormones, falls off a cliff, so does your quality of life.
Two things there. One is that when we think about menopause, we think that only women go through this change of life experience where our bodies are changing hormonally and stuff. With the hot flushes, obviously vaginal dryness and all these other things that affect us. We really forget that men also have menopause, but it's not called menopause, is it? It's called
andropause. It's huge. And we are natural talkers. We will, we don't necessarily suffer in silence. We don't generally got a girlfriend or somebody that we'll natter to and bare our souls to. Men tend to go into their caves. This is not all men, because there are some men who realize they need a bit of help, but a lot of men will just go into their caves. They start getting nitpicky and can get just generally irritable. Like us ladies do, that we get anxious. Men get irritable. There's the erectile dysfunction. There's the protruding belly. There's the not being able to keep the lean muscle mass, the hair loss, all of that stuff. Yes. And if we can take something that will stimulate our glands to start producing our hormones again, then the world becomes such a better place. One of the things that Dr. Ronald Klatz talks about in his book, that when they are using it, they try and encourage couples to have it, not one person, because you are going to get your libido back. You've got one part there who's, suddenly going, yes, I'm up for it, and the other one's going, what, really? You did it yesterday? There can be a few marital imbalances there. It takes about 6 months to truly experience this. This is not something you can buy a bottle and see how you go with it. This is something that, if you think about your glands, probably have not been secreting hormones for a very long time. If you've got somebody who's in their 40s or 50s or 60s starting it, their glands haven't been working at full optimum levels for 20 odd years. It's going to take a little time to bring them back from being the nib of a ballpoint pen to about the size of a kidney bean. The beautiful thing is, in this product, there are 8 botanicals. A lot of these things are used in HRT. They've been established for years for hormone balancing. So these are in there also to help the body promote its own production. And there's also the glandulars of thyroid and adrenal. They are homeopathic. They are 6X and 8X, and they are derived from pig and bovine sources, all from organically sourced farms where the animals are very, very well looked after. The company is very, very ethical. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell if you want to stay updated.